we have all of these different videos, and there has been some debunking attempts on these videos.
Yeah.
Ronnie. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about now to give you the other side. And I have some good stuff for you guys, okay? So bear with me. Because one guy who has surprisingly a popular opinion here, I'm going to shit all over that guy for a second. Is that okay with you, Ronnie? I'm going to take a big fat dump on this guy, okay? And then there is another guy that seems to be very, very smart that has said some eye-opening things, and also, even better, I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys out there actually haven't heard this guy. And he had, because unfortunately it's the less popular opinion, this guy makes sense of a lot of this stuff. Not all of it, but a lot of this stuff. So the first guy that I'm going to talk about is a guy I'm going to take a big fat deuce on. And his name is Mick West. Okay? So Mick West's debunking attempts. First off, what's Mick West's back? Well, if you just got here, welcome to Two Guys, One Mic. Right? We're just talking. Okay. So Mick West, you want to know his fucking background? He's a video game. He makes video games. That's all he does. That's it. He makes video games. He came out with the debunking of the military pilots' eyewitness accounts and military footage.
Hey, he must have ran it through his algorithm.
Yeah, and do you want to know what this fucking cuck said? Do you? You want to know what this guy said? He said that. Well, he gave excuses for all different of these videos. So, for instance, the Go Fast video. You ready for this? The Go Fast is the one where it's flying incredibly fast over the surface of the ocean. And remember, guys, what we brought up before. It's white, so it's colder than the surface of the ocean. And that's just using facts about how the fucking footage works. This guy says it's a bird. Which wouldn't be white, because a bird's not colder than the surface of the fucking ocean.
It must be a seagull. Or a dove.
And it's not going that fucking fast, okay? And it's not going to be dead and flying that fast, so it's colder than the surface of the ocean.
It really hard.
Unbelievable. This guy, dude, that's not a good debunk. That's just not. That is a shame, right? Let's be honest. That's a fucking shame, and that's coming from a guy who's going to actually, after this, give you some good debunking of those videos, of some of those videos. That's a shit take. Then he goes, well, yeah, it could be a bird, or how about the old, let's revert back to the old school. This is another one. This is all he offered, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got millions of views all over it. Yeah. This is the only other one he offered. A balloon. It's going because of the wind, so that's why it would be colder. He mentions this son of a bitch mentions that that he knows it's colder than the surface of the ocean, Ronnie, after he says the bird thing, which debunks his own bird debunking, because he's aware that it's
master debunker.
And it's colder than the surface of the ocean, but he goes, well, in that case, a balloon. And a balloon is not going that fast. Now, here's another thing about how fast it's going. You know how we got this off the blurry images. Why can't they be clear? This video comes with a lot of data on it. That's what military equipment does. How far away is it? How fast is it going? Where did it come from? Where is it heading? How cold or hot is it? Is it manned or unmanned? We get a lot of data that you wouldn't get from a video. So this guy talks about how he thinks that these trained, high-level, not trained as in they're trained to go up and they're being trained in planes. These are the guys that train other people to fly the planes, because they're commanders, right? So they're the best of the best. And so this guy thinks that those people don't know how, with their military equipment, you guys, that they don't know how far away it is. Look to your right, sir. It's there in the data playing on the video to your right. It tells you how far away it is. He goes, well, listen, it could just be a plane, even.
Oh.
But they think that it's closer than it is, but really it's farther. It tells them how far away it is. That's so dumb. That's dumb. And then the balloon thing. Have you guys watched? I'm assuming you guys watch these videos. You know, even Ronnie has not watched these videos that much. But you, good sir, how many times you watch these videos? Twice or something?
Maybe.
Like that? You probably remember the most infamous thing being said by the pilots of all. It's going, look at that thing. It's going against the wind. The wind is 120 knots. Balloons don't go against the wind.
Yeah.
So this guy can
It's a propulsion balloon.
Yeah, so this guy can just straight get fucked.
My lord.
Okay, this Mick West guy can just eat a bunch of shit. Yeah. And also, here's the last thing I'm going to say on that. This is fascinating as well. Now, this is more of a looking deeper inside about this stuff. But the radar, the people that control on the radar, before they sent the pilots out to check these things out, they said that these fucking things, whatever they were, they dropped from outer space, outside our atmosphere, to just a couple 100 feet above sea level in less than 1 second. And then stopped a couple 100 feet above sea level, dude, and then started moving a lot. So there's something that you're going to want to hold on to in talking about all of this stuff. Now, really fast, let me tell you about a guy, Ronnie, that seems very smart. That I feel like this is more what I'm actually bringing to this first podcast in telling you guys about, because I am of the belief that not all of you, some of you do, but a lot of you probably have not heard of this guy. His name is Jeremy Reyes.
I almost thought you were going to say Bob Lazar.
No, because a lot of people heard about Bob Lazar. Jeremy Reyes, and what he does is he does what more or less, he does this in a lot more professional manner than I am doing, but he does what I'd like to do, where he is fascinated by this subject, and he is open to the belief that that these can be real, but he debunks what he can, out of it. Trying to be very fair, even leaning hard more towards the debunking side, because he's a very smart individual who doesn't just say, it's a fucking regular balloon that some kid let go, or it's a bird that's dead, so that's why it's cold, but it's flying.
It's somebody that actually does the research. And
a lot of research,
really
and this is a very smart guy. So yeah, that other guy, Mick West, can eat shit. I'm not also, on top of all that stuff I mentioned, not willing to throw out the eyewitness testimony of countless different high-ranking military officials. Okay? But here's a true smart guy, and this might a little bit, but keep an open mind, man, because this guy, I want to believe too, but this guy is just a little bit inspiring in how smart he seems to be, but this might break some hearts out there. So Jeremy Reyes explains, for instance, the one of those 3 videos, because he takes these videos separately, as it should be done. They are not even all the same object, apparently. So he's taking these videos separately, and he explains one that I really kind of like, and explains the cube inside of a sphere. Have you seen that one, Ron? I have. You've sent pictures of it. So looks like a black box, like a cube kind of deal, inside of a translucent sphere. Now, that box inside of the sphere, I'm putting up videos for these bitches too, because I'm editing shit in, okay, for us. So, but this box inside of the sphere type deal is the one, as a matter of fact, that fighter pilots have run into a lot of times. No, that's not it.
That's
Ronnie.
not
Just
it?
put in box and sphere. Okay?
Box and
I mean, you're
sphere.
gonna want to look it up the way it sounds. But
I
yeah,
guess.
I'm gonna put up the right images for you guys. So don't worry about that. But yeah, the box inside the sphere, the cube inside the sphere, is actually the one that the Navy fighter pilots said that they almost ran into several different times.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, and so
That makes sense.
So he offers an explanation for this. Wow, Ronnie's.
I'm just.
I mean,
showing
Ronnie's
you
just
shit.
basically looking up porn at this point.
It's
So
okay.
okay. So the cube inside the sphere,
Something inside of something.
yeah, Jeremy Rise offers a really good explanation for this, okay? And that is that he thinks that possibly these cube inside the spheres are part of something called Project Palladium. And Project Palladium is a war games project that is, by design, supposed to confuse enemy radar. And what Project Palladium is that you would have buoys in the ocean that would inflate, not invisible, but translucent balloons that hold inside of it, right, not actually a cube, but an octahedron. And an octahedron, if you look that up, it looks a lot like a cube. Because it's barely different. It just has a little more shapes coming out of it, but when you push it farther back, it looks just like a box.
That's fair.
With just different points on it. And that is inside of the translucent balloon, in which the buoys that sit there can inflate the balloon around them. And what the octahedron does is that it is sending out jamming radar signals. So it tries to jam them, but if it is spotted by the radar,
Yeah.
after the buoy inflates the balloon with it in it, and it sends it up into the sky, it pings the radar.
Okay.
Remember, it's a war games project that is designed to confuse enemy. So it pings the radar, right? And then the radar says, there's something over here. And at any given point, the buoy then can communicate with it to blow up the balloon. It's
so
gone.
it serves as a distraction.
But listen, it's not just a distraction. What you do is you have many different buoys.
Yeah.
So when these guys and these pilots say, I went to go search for it, then it just boom disappeared, and 60 or 100 miles away it met me at my cap point, which I didn't even know what the cap point isn't disclosed to us, our meetup point, but it was there somehow. Jeremy Reyes explains that these things operate where you'd have many different buoys that could inflate one, send it up, it pings the radar, let's go over and look at it. I see it, it's a thing in the sky, then boom, it dissipates, and a different buoy far away can send up another one, but never both at the same. So it would appear on the radar as if this one thing was there, and then in some sort of jump maneuver, almost transports instantly to another place that is 60 miles away in the ocean, and it confuses. So that's a way better explanation than fucking Mick West. Okay, you guys. So this guy's name again is Jeremy Reyes, and a lot of this information, that I've read up on here was he did on a podcast called Concrete Podcast, spelled with a K, and you should go watch that, because that holds a lot of great info inside of it. So that was his thing, is that it'd be a balloon to confuse enemy radar. He also says that there is, as far as the video where you can see a UAP flying fast over the surface of the ocean, and then it dips down into the ocean. He says that there's already a lot of technology for air to sea and back to air missiles. And he cites this kind of technology that has been around for many years.
Yeah.
Already. So that would be at least some sort of something doable towards an explanation of this, and that they would be testing these things. And they would be testing them to see how they work, to see if they work good with confusing the radar. As far as the balloons in Project Palladium go, that they'd be testing these things. However, Ryan Graves was told about this kind of debunking, and Ryan Graves actually gives a lot of credit to this guy and says that is all very possible, and I'm not even going to say that that's not what I saw for sure, but I'm going to tell you that it wouldn't make sense due to the fact that, for one, he was flying off the coast of North Carolina, which is the northeast coast with New York, Philadelphia, the Carolina, Pennsylvania, is literally in the tri-state area there, is literally the most air traffic by a long shot in all of the country. So they wouldn't run test programs there.
Not to mention, it's not only like that, what you just said, but it's one of the main information hubs around the U.S.
Yeah, but they wouldn't run a project like that there to test it. He also says that they wouldn't run any military test projects that weren't being run by them. You wouldn't have an outside contractor run tests on military officials.
Yeah.
And also he says that a lot of these tests are conducted in war games and so on and so with us, and he said I've been a part of a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they are not they're conducted to test something. And it doesn't take over a decade to run the same tests on something, especially when the entire time and to this day we can't figure it out. It works. It works. Stop running the tests. Those cost a lot of money, right? They wouldn't run those.
Yeah, it just works.
Yeah, they wouldn't run those for that long, he says. And again, Jeremy Reyes says that makes sense to me. That makes sense. So these are two, smart guys talking to each other about this stuff, but I felt like here I gave you some bad debunks of this and what not to believe for sure, and keep your hope alive. And I thought that I offered you some good stuff through shout out to Jeremy Reyes, who really, he said a lot of other, I've read up a lot of other stuff on this guy that I didn't write down today, that just, he is,